The 2014 spring ball press conference here. Want to get started just to catch everybody up as far as what our team has been up to. Basically it's winter workouts and strength and conditioning has kind of been what their world's all about, as well as academics. They come back from the holidays and coaches are out on the road recruiting, so we don't have a whole lot of contact with them over the course of about 3 weeks in January. And so we kind of turned them over to the strength and conditioning group, who's been doing a great job downstairs. Mike Joseph, who's in the back, and will be available to y'all if y'all want to have any questions for Mike. But Mike and his staff with Daryl Bauer, Kevin McAdam, Irileo Dinrinde, and Chad Snodgrass all do a phenomenal job in the basement and have been utilizing the new weight room. Facility's been great for us. The space up in the indoor for an off-season point of view has been tremendous. So we've had 6 good weeks of work, and obviously the goal at this point in time is for these guys to get bigger, faster, stronger, healthy. They've been sitting in here eating a whole bunch of food and trying to get bigger and faster and stronger, and I think we've accomplished that up until this point. Got one more week of that. In addition to that, we've had probably 9 early morning sessions, which is a whole lot of fun for the coaching staff and the strength and conditioning guys. Get them up early and kick them around a little bit and yell at them and scream at them and encourage them and motivate them and just try to challenge them in every way possible. So we've had a lot of good work in the mornings and got a couple more of those sessions next week as well. Have been trying to get into the football aspect of it for the last 3 weeks. Had probably about six sessions in the afternoon where we get to have meetings in the afternoon and be able to show film to them and be able to get started. A little bit of a head start for spring ball, which has been going good. We'll have a couple more of those sessions again next week. So that'll lead us into spring football. We will start Sunday, March 2nd is when we're scheduled to start. Obviously, this time of the year, you're curious whether the weather is going to cooperate. Doesn't look like it's going to. If the last couple of months have been any indication. But what we're planning on doing is on Sunday, March 2nd, which y'all will be that'll be open to y'all for the first 30 minutes of that day, and then we'll try to get 3 non-padded practices in. A lot of teaching. It's kind of an extension of what we're currently doing with them, which is just trying to teach them as far as what we're going to be doing on all 3 sides of the ball. It'll be non-padded, helmets only. A lot of teaching inside all 3 days, to where we don't care if the weather cooperates or not. We got a schedule and we're going to stick to it. That'll lead us into spring break. Spring break, everybody will be gone for a week. When we come back, we'll have 4 weeks where that's the meat of the schedule. We'll have 12 practices. All of them will be able to be padded. Obviously that will be the majority of the work that we'll get into. The exact days may change, based on weather. If we have it Sundays or Tuesdays or Thursdays or Fridays or Saturdays, depending on what kind of weather. Now we've set 4 Saturday practices, and there's been a little bit of talk of this, but we've set 4 Saturday practices. On March 22nd, we'll be going to Wheeling to hold a practice in Wheeling. On Saturday, March 29th, we'll have a practice here in Morgantown, and then on April 5th, we'll practice down in Charleston. And then obviously the next game will be April 12th, which will be the spring game. All 4 of those practices are going to be open. We're going to allow y'all to be on the field for the first 30 minutes, and then stay as well. Open it up to the public. We want all of Mountaineer Nation to be able to come and be able to watch the Mountaineers, to see what we're putting out there, see what the product is. I think everybody's going to be pleasantly surprised with what the product's going to be. We've got a lot of returning guys. The schemes, which I'll get into this here in a second, but all the schemes are going to be relatively similar to what they were last year on all 3 sides. You always got to make some changes. You always got to evaluate exactly what you did and try to see what you got to do to be able to get a little bit better at it. So there'll be some differences in what we do on all three sides of the ball, but for the most part, it'll look relatively the same. Hopefully the outcomes will be a little bit better, and based on having about 70 scholarship guys right now healthy and ready to roll for spring practice, we are looking forward to being able to get out there and perform. But we wanted all of Mountaineer Nation to be able to come see it. If it works in Wheeling, great. If it works in Charleston, great. If it works here in Morgantown, great. But I want you to come support the team and show your support to us, and we'll show you what the hard work that we've been putting into it, what it's going to look like in 2014. Hopefully we'll make you guys proud of us. We'll get into what you all view as probably the most important area of this press conference, the injury report. Everybody's anxiously awaiting to see how the health of our team is. Start with Clint Trickett. It's progressing. He had shoulder surgery. We'll be throwing gradually throughout the course of spring. Will not be participating in spring. Is participating in meetings right now. Is actively learning, trying to get a little bit more ahead of the curve knowledge-wise from where he was in the fall. But he'll be cleared once Summer 1 rolls around, which is May 19th, when those guys take pretty much 3 weeks off in May after this spring semester. When he comes back in summer, he'll be 100% cleared and ready to go, and we'll be able to compete at that time. Wes Tonkery has had numerous shoulder surgeries, and he just got done with a thumb surgery as well, but he's rehabbing his shoulder. He'll miss spring ball. Will be cleared for summer 2 once July 1 rolls around. Jared Barber, similar situation, had knee surgery, missed the last couple games of the year. Is rehabbing, is progressing, will be full go, same time frame around July 1st, in time for summer 2. Tyler Tazzino will miss the majority of spring ball. Had knee surgery. You may see him out there towards the end of it, but probably won't be able to compete much. The following guys have been cleared, for missing games last year, whether it was the full season, whether it was a couple of the games earlier in the year that they played in, but now have been fully cleared and fully ready to go. Malik Greaves with his hip, he's ready to go. Shaq Petaway's real close to recovering from his knee surgery that he had in August. He's cleared, ready to go. Dustin Garrison's hamstring's fine, he's ready to go. Christian Brown's foot has healed nicely, and he's looking good in the offseason. He'll be ready to go. Nana Kyram with his shoulder is cleared, and he's full go, ready to go. And then Ricky Rumpf, who missed the last 3 or 4 games of the year, has healed nicely, and he's out there working out as well. Moving on to the coaching staff and the positions. As it's been widely speculated defensively that Tony Gibson will be our defensive coordinator. There's been a number of reasons why it hasn't been announced until this point. Just got the signature today, so we're free to talk about it. But Tony's been doing a great job for us. Being a Mountaineer to Tony is important, and nobody cares more about the Mountaineers. Nobody cares more about the state of West Virginia and West Virginia University than Tony does. So I think that goes a long ways. And you've seen a pattern with the hires over the last couple of years that's I think really working out great for us. So he's a guy that really wants to be here, really cares about the kids. When I announced it to the team the other day, I think he got a standing ovation by the kids, so you can tell what kind of respect that they have for him. But he's going to be the defensive coordinator. We'll continue to recruit Pennsylvania, do a heck of a job when it comes to that. But we'll also increase the rapport that he has with the entire defense, not only the defensive personnel, but the defensive coaches as well. And we'll do a tremendous job as he has ever since he's been here. So excited about him doing that. He'll be primarily coaching with the linebackers, which will be a little bit of a change for him, which I think is good. Being a defensive coordinator, being the linebacker coach gets you involved both on the front end and the back end, which I think is is really important. Damon Cogdale, we all know Damon, the former Mountaineer, announced him as being a part of the staff. Really excited that Damon's here. Has done a great job of pushing kids this direction in the past. We'll still do a great job of getting guys up here from down south. But he'll be working primarily with the defensive line. He's currently doing a great job with that. The rapport that he's going to have with the players, I think, will really pay dividends when it comes to getting those guys to play at a very high level. Brian Mitchell will be coaching the corners again this year. I do think that our corners, showed a tremendous amount of progress last year. I think he'll continue to get those guys on par with what the Big 12 needs. When it comes to a pretty good passing conference, you need some guys that can cover. Did a great job of that and continue to get better. Joe DeForest will continue to be the special teams coordinator. We saw a tremendous amount of improvement with our special teams and our specialists, he will continue to do that and continue to get these guys. Which being a special teams coordinator, everybody just thinks kicker, punter, holder, and did a great job of coaching those guys, but it's the whole team. And has to have his hand, and the whole team will continue to do that. We are going to get Joe, back involved on defense. As soon as Tony decided that he wanted to be the defense coordinator, and we agreed on that, he said, "I want Joe DeForest on the defensive side of the ball." Has a tremendous amount of knowledge. Got over 25 years of coaching experience on that side of the ball, and he's going to be working with the safeties. I do want to announce that the graduate assistants on defense, Tanner Antle is in the back. I don't know if anybody knows Tanner, but Tanner's going to be on the field. Was with us in an off-the-field role last year. He played the position, was a great player at Tulsa, and has decided to join us and will be primarily in charge of assisting Tony with the linebackers. Does a great job, got a bright future. Mark Scott's going on his third year as being a graduate assistant. He's kind of our all-everything graduate assistant on defense. Excited to have him coming back. And then we're going to add Andre Sexton, who will help Joe in the secondary. We'll also help him with special teams. He'll be an off-the-field guy. Andre was a great player at Oklahoma State, originally from Houston, but we're excited to have him join it as well. Offensively, not really any changes whatsoever when it comes to staffing. You got Shannon Dawson still going to be the offensive coordinator. We'll coach the quarterbacks. Lonnie Galloway will have all the receivers as he did last year. J1 Sider will have the running backs, the fullbacks, the tight ends, the H-backs, all those kind of guys as he did a year ago. And Ron Crook will be in charge of the offensive line. Should show more continuity when it comes to that. Last year, that was a whole new ball game for us. We coached a whole lot of first-year players. We should be totally different for us this year. We don't have a whole lot of first-year players, and we got a staff that's coming back that understands how to work with each other. Chris Hannon will be the graduate assistant on offense. Will basically be the assistant offensive line coach. It's all he's going to do. Coaching O-line's, probably the hardest position out there to coach. So he'll be primarily in charge of being the assistant offensive line coach. Tyler Urban is kind of our all-everything offensive graduate assistant, will be in charge of a whole bunch of things. And then Lyle Leong will be the off-the-field guy offensively, be helping with receivers and special teams from an off-the-field point of view. Moving on to the probably the most important thing, which is the players. Like I mentioned, we have 70 scholarship guys heading into the spring, probably 15, 20 more than we've had in the past going into spring. So we're excited about just the amount of kids that we have to work with and the experience that's coming back. Makes it a lot easier to line up and have a functional spring practice when you have 2 and 3 deep at each position, especially 2 and 3 deep guys that have experience. We had players and coaches vote spring captains. This will not carry over into the fall, but for the spring, we've named 5 guys spring captains, which are voted on by the kids, by the players. Mike Molinari, who is doing a phenomenal job, is a workout warrior. You think of specialists as not guys that are workout guys, but the guys that we got in the special teams room right now are workout warriors more than anything I've ever seen. But Mike does everything. He's a great leader, 4.0 guy. Is the kickoff guy. He's going to try to he's going to try to beat them all out, is what he said. He said, shoot, if I can do all three of it, I'll do all three of it. But he's doing a great job. Quentin Spain, offensively, Cody Clay, offensively, Carl Joseph, defensively, and Nick Kwiatkowski, defensively, are the five guys that we kind of pinpointed as far as being the spring captains. Starting on defense, like I mentioned, it's not going to change a whole bit. We're a three down front. It's what we wanted to do. You can be multiple with it. You can do a whole bunch of stuff with it. I think when you look at the defensive personnel, what I look at as far as what stands out is the depth that we have at linebacker. We got returning starters in Brandon Golston, Isaiah Bruce, Nick Kwiatkowski, Jared Barber started games. Wes Tonkery started games for us. You forget he started in place of Terrence Garvin in the Orange Bowl a few years ago. He's been around so long and played a lot of games. Jawan Snow has started games for us here. Shaq Petaway has started games for us here. So you got a whole lot of guys that have played, and then you got a collection of young guys that you look at them and you say those guys look like, they're real players. And guys like Edward Muldrow is a long guy that has attacked the offseason, has done real well. Al Rashid Benton is a thick guy. You got real young guys like Rodari Christian and Knife McDonald that are providing a bunch of depth. I'm anxious to see those. They're 3-4 deep at those spots. So you got a bunch of guys that have a lot of experience, and looking forward to getting those guys out and play. D-line should have some good battles for the three positions at the D-line. I think Kyle Rose is taking on the leadership role at this point, is doing a great job, and Dontrell Hyman is really working hard, doing a good job in the offseason. Looking forward to those guys putting pads on. They need to be pushed by Eric Kinsey and Noble Nwakachu. Those guys physically, explosiveness is something that you want. Consistency is what you need to see what those guys can do. So should have a good battle at end. And then the nose, Christian Brown looks great. Darian Howard is finally getting an off season. Darian didn't show up here until mid-August. Getting him in an off season I think is important. We've moved Brandon Jackson to nose tackle. Asked Brandon. Brandon hadn't been extremely productive for us around here. Asked him if he could hold a gap. If he could whip the center and hold a gap. He said he'd whip the center and both guards at the same time. So we figured we'd give him a shot at nose tackle and see what he's a big kid. He's a big old thick powerful kid. We'll see what he looks like when we get him out there in pads. Safety, see experience. Got Carl Joseph, who's played more games as a junior than probably anybody on our team. KJ Dillon has recovered. That was another guy I didn't mention, but he's fully recovered from the Texas game. He was in the hospital with severe dehydration. Was weighing about $179 at that point. I think he's about 208, 209 right now. Looks good. Is functioning good. Those two guys bring a tremendous amount of experience. And then, you get Ricky Rumpf, Jared Harper, Jeremy Tyler, Malik Greaves, guys like that. Just need to get out there and play. They're still really young, but spring ball is going to be extremely good for them. At corner, Icky Banks coming back for his senior year, has played a lot of football. Darryl Worley, as a true freshman, you look at him, if he'd walk in those doors, you'd think he was a senior. He's just a real mature guy that looks good. He's having a great offseason. And then again, is anybody going to be able to challenge them or beat them out? Might be guys that are on the team, might be guys that we got coming in, don't know. But Keyshawn Richardson's got great feet. Terrell Chestnut's healthy, ready to go. Mentioned Nan and then Brandon Napoleon. They just need to get out there and play and see what happens. Mentioned the specialists. Those guys are all doing well. John DePalma, Nick O'Toole, and Josh Lambert, all three of them are experienced. Are going through the off season. They're trying to improve on their craft and see if they can't get better. And then Mike says if they don't, then he's going to beat them out. So we're excited to see the battles there. Offensively, mentioned that Clint's not going to be able to go through spring, so we'll have Skylar Howard has been doing a great job in the off season. Logan Moore, we've moved him to quarterback full time to have a third arm in the spring. We've been through spring with 2 arms, and it's not a whole lot of fun. So Logan is really working hard, is really studying what's going on, and he feels like he's going to have a chance to be able to compete. And then Paul obviously has taken a ton of reps and has got himself in position to where he knows the offense better than everybody, obviously, because of the amount of reps that he's taken. But got 3 capable guys of being able to run our offense. Much like the linebacker situation on defense, our running back room has got a bunch of experience and a bunch of depth. You got Dreamer Smith, Wendell Smallwood, Dustin Garrison, have all played a lot of ball. Andrew Bowie's back and working hard, has played a lot of ball. And then Russell Shell looks great, is in shape. Anxious to see him in pads and see what he can do. But you got 5 capable guys that have all proven that they can play at the Division I level. Cody Clay, tight end wise, has improved his body, needs to improve his route running, which he's working hard on. Garrett Hope and Eli Wellman are 2 guys that are going to be able to bring some nastiness, be able to bring some toughness, be able to line them up in a variety of places and let them play ball. The receivers, it's nice to see 2 to 3 deep at each position, especially having 3 returning starters, 4, counting Jordan Thompson, but Dakeil Shorts, Kevin White, and Mario Alford are all guys that are coming back, that are returning starters, have gained a lot of experience last year, and I think that's gonna go a long ways as far as opposed to in the fall trying to teach these guys what to do. We can take the entire spring practice and we can teach them how to get better at it. That's going to be big. So, and then you just need to find out which guys can develop depth or potentially push them for a starting job. And then last but not least, offensive line. Probably starts with the inside guys. Might have one of the better guard combinations in the country. With Quentin Spain being a senior, having a ton of experience, 4-year starter, and Mark Blowinski being a second-year starter coming out of junior college in a redshirt year, both 5th-year seniors, both strong as can be. Both have a year under their belt with Coach Crook and the system that we're doing. Those guys should be a tremendous force on the inside. Tyler Orlowski is doing great. He's got some presence to him, snaps the ball really well, which is really nice to see. But those guys are doing a good job on the inside, and we do have depth with Stone Underwood, who's healthy and got a junior college guy with the redshirt year. Grant Lingelfelter, Tony Mateo, those guys are going to provide some depth. Probably the biggest question mark on our whole offense, other than the quarterback spot, obviously, is the tackle spot. We gotta figure out who our tackles are. It's an important spot, but we lost 2 guys, 2 seniors last year. Marquise Lucas is going to get moved to tackle to see if he can handle anything on the edge. Adam Pankey, Marcel Lazard, Sylvester Towns, junior college kid coming in. They're all big bodies. They're long. They're tall. They got good wingspan. We just got to see which guys develop and which guys don't. Mike Colicchio's a 5th-year walk-on who's enormous, as we all know. We'll see if he can potentially get himself to where he can help us as well. So that's kind of a state of the union as far as where we're at. You can get into some more specifics with the position coaches around the room to see exactly where what their position group is all about. Take a few questions if anybody's got anything at this time.
Daniel, what are your plans for the time that you can spend with the players this year? The new rule is opening. What's going to be your focus?
It'll look a lot like that doesn't kick in until basically June 1. It'll look a lot like it was in winter conditioning that we're going through right now. We'll have them for 8 hours. It means less vacation time for these coaches, which that's probably the one downside they're going to tell you. But basically, the NCAA said they gave us 8 hours a week with them, and they defined when recruits can come on campus and when they can't. So, the whole month of June, once we get done with recruiting in May, we'll come back and we'll be able to spend 4 or 5 weeks with them in June, towards the end of May and June. 8 hours a week, just like we're doing now. We'll be able to go down in the weight room with them. We'll be able to spend time with them. We'll be able to sit in a room and coach. We'll be able to watch a lot of spring cut-ups. That'll be really beneficial to the new guys joining the team in May, June, July. If you remember, not to go backwards at all, but so many new guys joined our team in August, July, June, that we couldn't spend any time with them until August 1. This year we'll be able to at least sit in a room with them and talk to them, be around them, get up in the early in the morning, like I told you we've been doing, and get out there and just spend time with them and challenge them and try to see what they're all about.
And you have a position on your coaching staff still available. What are your plans for that?
Yeah, interviewing guys now. Just when there's a lot of things that go into it. It's not just about finding the right guy and making a decision. So, been interviewing some guys, got some leads, and we'll hopefully get something done here early next week.
Defensive guy?
Best available. Best way I can put it. We've been coaching. We've been coaching our guys here for about 3 weeks on what we're going to be doing on all three sides of the ball, and we're very comfortable with our schemes and who's coaching what. So I at this point in time, say best available.
And you talked about what the players do and that during the off season. Have the defenses from last year given you reason to think of changes that you guys have to make, either philosophically or really on the field? I mean, have they begun catching up to what you were doing there?
Oh, gosh, you may have asked that question last year. I mean, it seems like it's been.
I repeat myself sometimes.
Well, it's not that, Bob. It's more, trying to find reasons why we weren't successful. And I'm going to attribute that to other factors other than defenses catching up to what we're doing offensively. It's about execution. We weren't very good last year offensively at executing in key times. Was that because they're doing different things on third down, or they're creating different blitzes or different coverages? I don't think so. I think we knew what they were doing, and we just had a hard time executing it for a variety of reasons.
Along that same vein, the speed of play, that's been an issue. What's your thoughts on it? I think I know, but
Do I have to answer? I don't view it as a big deal. I went slower last year than I probably ever have in 10 years. Because we weren't very good at executing. How many times we snapped the ball when that clock was in the 30s? I would challenge you it was very many. So I don't know. How much is it going to change it? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it'd change it or not. I don't think it would change us very much. But I don't agree with it. I don't think it's a good rule.
Talk a little bit about it seems like there's been a lot of change in the coaching staff here. Is that, from your standpoint, a good thing, or your coaches are getting opportunity other places, or a bad thing because you're not getting continuity on your own team?
It's both, to be honest with you. I mean, if you look at some of the guys that's left, they've left for a variety of reasons and been off to good jobs because we've had success. Continuity is something that me and Oliver have talked about a lot and want to do a variety of things to be able to make sure that we ensure continuity for this coming year and in the future. So I think their continuity can be good. Change can be good as well. And some of the things that have changed here, I think we have changed for the better in a whole lot of those situations.
Dana, for the people who are going to buy tickets this year and everything, is there something you can point to maybe encourage them? I mean, something that maybe they haven't been seeing? Well,
yeah. I mean, everybody wants to win. Nobody wants to win more than me and this coaching staff, this team, and Mountaineer Nation. I mean, I understand how much everybody wants to win, and I understand how much it means to everybody. And there is some disappointing losses last year, but I can promise you one thing, that we're going to work harder than we did last year. We're going to have more continuity. We're going to have more experience. Don't forget, we're playing in one of the most exciting conferences in all of college football. There were some pretty exciting games out there on Mountaineer Field last year that we just happened to come up a couple points short. So with a bunch of experience, and that's one reason why we're going to open up these practices this spring. I encourage everybody to come watch and come see what you think. It's I tell you, our guys are working hard, and they're excited about spring ball. They're excited about 2014. We're working as hard as we can possibly work, and I do think the product's going to be improved. I do think we'll put something out there that you can be proud of, and then there's some exciting guys that have played a lot of ball. That if I don't have anything to do on a Saturday, I'm going to go watch it. Because there's some exciting games that are going to take place out there on Mountaineer Field.
When so many programs are closing practices, how and why did that come about to open them up and travel around the state?
I just wanted to do it, and there was nobody. I came up with the idea, so it wasn't like anybody was telling me to do it. So, I talked to Alex about it, and we there's some compliance issues that we had to work through. Hopefully the weather cooperates. It will be weather pending. I don't think anybody's going to want to sit in 5-degree weather with rain and sleet and snow and all that stuff to do that. We're going to get a few practices, so we need to take advantage of them. But just much like the spring game is, just wanted to open those up and let everybody come watch and show everybody across the state that we will put a product out there that you can be proud of.
Can you talk a little bit more about Scott or what you see in him?
He can work out good. That's all I've seen. He asks a lot of questions in a meeting room. He comes in and meets with Shannon all the time and asks a lot of questions. He's eager. Nothing's more important to him than being a quarterback, which I view as incredibly important. Haven't seen him in a football setting yet. So the workout end of it is good. The players gravitate towards him. He gets through a workout better than most our skill guys. So he's a workout guy that asks a lot of questions, and football is important. It's a breath of fresh air for me.
With regard to offense, it's kind of what Bob was saying. I think you mentioned last year that a lot of teams you thought were switching to man, right? Now that you've stepped back and looked at them, is that just a hunch, or is that like an actual trend that you have to look at now, maybe adapt a little bit?
Faced it probably a little bit more last year than we have in the past. Probably we'll face it a little bit more next year. That potentially depends on how good Mario can get at being a fade guy and how good Kevin can be at jump balls. That discourages a lot of man coverage when you got guys that can beat you deep at the drop of a hat. But Oklahoma did it exclusively. Texas did it quite a bit. Kansas did it quite a bit for a variety of reasons. So yeah, probably. We can control that, though. We have something to say about that.
Dana, 5 running backs, how do you use them all? Does somebody play a little slot, maybe? How do you differentiate between all 5 of those who played a lot?
See who the better one is. It's called competition. Competition makes everybody better, and when you don't have that competition, which we didn't have a lot of it last spring, guys get complacent. Guys don't try extra hard or whatever it is. So the more competition we can create at any position. I mentioned this about the specialists, and Joe's looking at me, with the thumbs up. But if Mike can beat out one of those 3 guys, we should be pretty good at one of those positions because, I think we're pretty good at those 3 positions last year. But the more continuity, the more competition you have, the better. Last year we used quite a bit of running backs. Whether you can use 1, whether you can use 2, whether you can use 3, you can line them up in a bunch of different places. I think is important.
Speaking of competition, you came within a heartbeat, possibly, of opening this year, coming off a bad season against maybe the Division I and Division I AA champions, national champions back to back. Let's say 2 other tough games. What are your thoughts about the starting so tough in a year when you're trying to find things out?
I mean, we're the ones that made the schedule. I mean, I'm the one that okayed it, you know, and you know, we're speaking of scheduling. I mean, we're trying to schedule as many high-profile games as we possibly can. I mean, I think, you know, I think that's going to be the future of college football. You need to play high-profile games, whether they're neutral sites, whether they're home-and-home sites against, you know, other Power 5 conferences. I think that's the future of scheduling, you know, and Oliver has enough foresight for that a couple years ago he brought this to our attention, and I thought it was a great idea to start the year in a high-profile situation like that. Will it be challenging? Absolutely, it'll be challenging. The Big 12 is challenging as well. So we wanted to be relevant. We wanted to be in a situation where we're playing at the highest level possible, and that's what we got.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
He says